Time magazine has named Elon Musk its Person of the Year. The publisher said few people have had more influence than Musk on life on Earth and potentially life off Earth as well. It caps a run in which Musk had solidified his standing as the world's richest person and turned Tesla into a $1 trillion business. Well, joining us now is Bloomberg's global autos editor, Craig Trudell. I know we share an obsession by his tweets, Craig, because that's the first thing that we probably check, going to sleep and then checking up in the morning. So, I mean, Time Person of the Year, and it's not without controversy.
No, I think that's true, and I thought Time's article was very telling. I think they were somewhat laudatory, as you would expect them to be for anyone who they're declaring to be Person of the Year. But a lot of their write-up did go into the various controversies. I don't think it was exhaustive because you would kind of be there all day. But this is a guy who has accomplished incredible feats with SpaceX and Tesla. With Tesla, as you mentioned, crossing the $1 trillion market value threshold earlier this year. And with SpaceX as well, I think the extent to which they've just really dominated the launch industry and taken over for NASA, the momentum that they've had with Starlink, a satellite service that is intended to bring in a steady amount of revenue while he chases Mars. It's been a heck of a year for him.
I mean, it has been a heck of a year. I mean, he was tweeting today also about, carbon capture and then turning it into fuel. So, I know you follow him, and it's probably never dull actually writing on Mr. Musk as well. I mean, what's the next step for Tesla in 2022?
Well, I think next year is going to be really interesting because of the two plants that they're opening, one in Germany and another in Texas. So that effectively will, down the road, double their production capacity is sort of the plan. To this point, they've had, obviously, the plant in California and the one in Shanghai. The China factory has just been hugely consequential to the company. It's brought costs down. It came through and sort of allowed for them to maintain production during the early days of lockdowns. And it's really just been a massive boon to the company. I think the Texas plant will boost Model Y capacity for them. Eventually, the Cybertruck is the plan. And in Germany, I think we've seen that Tesla has real potential in this market. Once the China plant has gotten up and running and become an export factory for them, you've seen a big move up in their sales in Europe. Yep. A lot of that is nowadays coming from China.
I mean, Craig, I have to say, there was also, yesterday at the Gala of Time, after he received, I think, the Time Person of the Year, he was, seen with a toddler on his lap, a quiet toddler, so maybe he'll go into parenting books. I mean, he's also selling off quite a lot of the Tesla shares as he keeps on exercising his options. Do we know where the end point is?
So if you're taking into account his Twitter poll of wanting to sell 10% of his stake, he's roughly about 70% of the way done. Just looking at his direct share ownership, he'll have to sell a little bit more if you take options into account. But we've seen him sell consistently now for a good 5 or 6 weeks. And so, just to get through the remaining, roughly 30% or so, we may actually see a few more weeks of this, and we have seen it sort of do a number on the shares. We talked earlier about the $1 trillion market value. Actually, yesterday, as Musk was doing some selling, the stock actually dipped back below that threshold. So it will be interesting to see just how much this has been an overhang on the shares and whether we see a little bit of a recovery once he's done with all of this.